Right now, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about position, marketing, and sales, and I'm going to do it using a scene from a well-known TV show called Better Call Saul. And at the end, I'll show you how I applied these same principles in my own digital marketing agency to get way better customers and with way less effort. So in the 4th season of Better Call Saul, Saul gets suspended from practicing law for an entire year because of some violations that he made, so he's forced to get a regular job and he starts working as a salesman at a cell phone store called CC Mobile. But on his first day, the store is dead, there's nobody coming in to buy phones, so he asks his boss what's going on and why the store is so slow, and this is what happens.
CC Mobile, this is Jimmy.
Heyo, how's the first morning?
Good, Robbie. Well, yeah, actually, it's a little slow.
Yeah, that store's always been a bit calmer. Just bring a book.
So this is a normal weekday?
Mostly, but wait till inventory week. There's a line out the door.
When's inventory week?
You just missed it.
Is there, any chance that you could move me to a store with a little more traffic?
Let's see. The Gold Street store is always hopping. But it looks like the schedule's all full right now. Let's give it a couple weeks and then we'll see.
No problem.
If I can, I'll swing by later. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, see you then.
So Saul, being on commission only and obviously wanting to make more money, has to come up with a way to sell more phones, and being the true marketer that he is, he decides to do something really smart, and that is to create a new type of customer. A business expert named Peter Drucker once wrote, "The purpose of business is to make profit and also to create a customer." And that might seem like a weird concept, to create a customer. How do we create a customer? Well, in the day and age of this TV show, people who bought cell phones were people who usually wanted to make calls and send text, and this was a time where people didn't really use cell phones as much, whereas today, everybody uses them. So to create a new customer, all you got to do is take your product, and without changing much about it, you can create a new way to market it and move it to a completely different category of people. So instead of focusing on all the little bells and whistles and why the cell phones were better, Saul focused on something different. He decided that instead of selling cell phones the same way that they had always been sold, he was going to sell them as privacy instead. So he grabbed some paint, and in big letters on the outside of the shop, he wrote, "Is the man listening?" followed by "Privacy sold here." They say if you want to get rich, you need to teach people about the problem and make them problem aware. So that's exactly what Saul did, and now all he needed to do was wait for a customer to walk in. So what happens next is the guy drives by in a truck, he reads the sign, and he reverses back and he parks in front of the store. And the next clip is genius as well, because when this customer walks in, Saul pretends to be on the phone with another customer saying he can't get them as many phones as he's wanting because they're selling out too quickly.
Yep. Maximum privacy. It's best money can buy. 10. No, can't do it. Everyone wants these things. 6. Yeah, I can do 6. Okay, see you later.
So he's creating fake demand for his product. Right here, Saul breaks the cell phone, which what he's doing is demonstrating live to this guy how these single-use privacy phones are supposed to be used. You use it, you destroy it, and you throw it away so that your calls are untraceable. Which piques the curiosity of the guy walking into the store, like, who destroys a brand new cell phone? Well, he's showing the prospect the use of the phone. Use it, break it, nobody can track your calls. In fact, he's already rehearsed the whole thing beforehand, so when this guy walks in, instead of being excited to help him, he says, "I'll be with you in a second." We see that he's writing something, and we're not quite sure what it says yet, but then the camera reveals it, and it says, "On hold, do not sell," and he has a stack of cell phones that are ready to be purchased. So the guy walks in and he says, "What is this all about? Why do I need privacy? Who do I need privacy from?" And then Saul says, "Well, people are always listening and we're doing a lot of business over the phone, you know, cash business that we might not want everybody to know about," which intrigues the guy. And this is where Saul uses another genius marketing strategy. He doesn't know what the guy is trying to hide from, so Saul says things vaguely until the guy then says the IRS, and then Saul says bingo.
Like the IRS?
Bingo.
So now Saul knows that this guy's trying to hide some money transactions from the IRS, and then he gets into it a little bit more.
Scheduling appointments on the phone. How are you arranging payments on the phone? And who's listening? That's right. They know every lick and tittle. So you're living your life free and easy, and then one day, at a time of their choosing, bam! They bring the hammer down to Chinatown.
Jesus.
Jesus is right. telling you, these guys don't fool around, and they will clean your bones faster than a school of piranhas. I'll tell you what I do. I practice something we call information hygiene.
And then here, Saul creates his own little phrase, information hygiene, which basically just means practicing clean communication over the phone so the IRS can't track it. That's a great way to package this idea. So you can come up with your own product or problem, package it into a solution, and give it a catchy name. So then Saul gets into it a little bit more with the customer, and the customer asks, well, how does this work? And Saul says, well, if you buy these phones with cash, it will be untraceable. And if you use it just once, whatever you want to remain private will remain private. And that right there is the most important thing you can understand. So in marketing terms, the definition of positioning is this: the space you occupy in the heart and mind of the customer relative to your competitor. So basically, if you can fill up your prospect's heart and mind with your offer more than your competitors, you've won. So in Saul's case, he needed to find a customer who's more worried about being traced on their phone calls and less worried about using the cell phone for daily use. And in order to do that, Saul needed to create a unique problem and promote it in a unique way that got people interested, and that's exactly what he did. Now, this is obviously a fictional TV show, but it explains the idea of where burner phones came from, because if you want to have privacy on your calls, you'll want a burner phone. So ultimately, he creates an entirely new market of people to sell to when his original market was dead. And in this next clip, we're going to see him driving around and trying to sell this exact same thing again, but this time he drives up on some kids who think he's an undercover cop. And he realizes something: he still looks and dresses like a lawyer.
How's it going? How you guys set for phones?
We got phones.
Private phones.
Beat it, narc.
Oh, come on. Would a narc drive this piece of shit?
Take it back to impound, narc.
So right here, he realizes because he still looks like his old self, his lawyer self, these people don't trust him, and he has the bright idea to go home and change his appearance, and we see him come back in his tracksuit, which becomes part of his signature look in the show going forward. Now he's walking around, and now he looks like the people he's trying to sell the burner phones to, and a lot of this plays into packaging and positioning, because if you can look like the people that you're trying to market to, then you'll gain their trust way faster. And now Saul's going out on the streets to these sketchy individuals looking more like them, and he's selling phones like crazy. He's running out of stock. And another good principle he's putting into place here is by going out on the streets, he's going to where the customers are. Because he realized that nobody was coming into his store to buy phones, because people who buy burner phones aren't people who are typically going to go into the store to buy them. He's literally bringing the phones out to the street to the customer. So for us, if we're trying to sell our services, we need to be where the customers are. For example, if they're on Facebook, then post more content on Facebook or run Facebook ads. But if they're more of a professional type, then you might want to post more on LinkedIn. By bringing your products and services to where the customers are, you reduce friction for them, getting directly in front of them, and you'll be able to sell a lot more of whatever it is you're selling. Now, this last scene is really cool because Saul isn't satisfied with selling a lot of phones. He wants to get rid of all of them, and he has a few more left. And so he grabs the rest of them and he starts walking right up to a tough-looking biker gang, and we don't know what's going to play out here because in previous cases, he's been beat up or stolen from, so let's see what happens.
Hey, how's it going? Did you get that ink in Las Lunas?
Las Cruces.
Off by one.
And you've been inside?
No, I haven't had the honor, but I used to be a lawyer. Emphasis on used to be. And I helped a lot of gentlemen such as yourself and your friends here. And one thing I learned from working with my clients in the New Mexico correction system is that private conversations are few and far between.
And that's awesome right there. He says private conversations in the correction facilities are few and far between. So he understands that gangs need a way to talk to each other while they're in prison and do it privately. So he's speaking their language. He's highlighting a pain point that they have. And then he adds the solution by saying these phones are very small. They can fit in almost anything, suggesting to them that they can smuggle these cell phones into prison in all types of different ways.
The man is always listening on those landlines. So, word to the wise, if you want to talk to your friends on the inside, there is a simple solution.
Once you dress up the problem well enough and use language that the customers understand and the problems that they identify with, the product sells itself, and because of that, Saul sells all of the cell phones. This lesson from Better Call Saul is a great lesson for any business. If you're not selling as much as you want to, you may need to change the lane that you're in. And this lesson applied especially well for me in my own web design agency. Over a year ago, I was selling websites to businesses in my own agency, and that's exactly how I was marketing it. I make websites for businesses, but I decided to change the way that I marketed to something more unique and eye-catching, and I started promoting my websites as smart websites that help you get more leads, save time with AI and automation, rank higher on Google, and they look good too. And crazy enough, when I made this single switch of how I position my sites as smart websites, I started attracting smarter and better quality customers as well. People who were more interested in tech and AI, and they knew they needed to be using it in their business, but they just didn't know how, and I could solve that problem for them. This is referred to as a blue ocean strategy. If you're in a space where your competitors are doing the same things as you and everyone is fighting for the same type of customer, that means you're in a red ocean. But if you move your boat over to somewhere else and you position yourself differently, you'll attract a different type of customer, and you can be in a blue ocean even when there are other businesses offering similar services to you. If you're looking for a place to learn how to market your own business or start your own digital marketing agency helping others, then feel free to check out my free HighLevel Quest community down below.